So, but let's wait a little bit for everybody to join. I hope you can hear me well, and if not, please tell me. I hope you can see me, and hope the frame rate is fine, but it looks fine to me. If not, please let me know. So yeah, James just followed me, so he will probably be here soon. So let's see. Ha! There he is. Hey James, how you doing? So you basically started it. So I put your stuff first here, and then afterwards we can look at some more stuff in the service mode, for example, slides for DMD, and slides for LCD machines, because currently the MPF Service Mode slides are optimized for DMD screens, but not for LCDs. Or at least, I mean, they work on LCDs, but it doesn't work so well. We can work. Yeah, we can do coil strength. Sure. Let's put that onto the list. I guess via setting, right? So we would define setting, and then we would make the hold. Yeah, probably either the pulse power or the hold power. No, the pulse duration, right? Pulse duration, pulse milliseconds, depending on the setting. Yeah, that we can do that. Sure, I guess, and that's good. So yeah, so what I did first is like I on updates. What needs updates here? And so I copied name stuff, which he basically sent me multiple things. So the first thing is he sent me a change to the settings controller. Settings are like thing in MPF, which will show up in the service menu, and they will result in player or mostly machine variables. So machine variables which you can reference in configuration. So I can show you here. So this small window which I lost. So what did I? Oh yeah, I cannot start two MPF instances at the same time because they will try to bind the same port. So this is basically an MPF with a DMD here, and the service manual has also adjustments, and then there are like standard adjustments, and it comes with a few of them, which is like brightness, for example, and there you can change the brightness of your lights, of your LEDs in the machine. And you can also change flipper power, so weak, strong, normal. I think it's just 20% more pulse duration if you set them to strong, and 20% less for weak. And then there's like credit play or free play that comes as a setting from the credits. Yeah, from the credits mode, right? But yeah, that doesn't really matter here today. And those are the three default settings which we got. And what James sent me is like he wanted to add like a settings type in in the settings. So because they're currently like standard adjustments, but he also wants like feature adjustments and I guess game adjustments, right? Those would be the three, I would say, default things. Is there anything else you would want here as default? Yeah, and the idea is to just put it into the settings entry in the settings controller. And yeah, that's just a few places where this is also added. I clean this up a little bit to improve it. And then we basically enhanced the setting specification here to also have the string entry which defaults to standard. And now we can go to my test configuration, which I just used, and we can add some settings. And let's see, let's IKU and coin settings also. Okay, we'll do that. Let's put some test settings here and look at the configuration specification as a label, test setting, and then we put in sort. Let's just copy this one here and sort integer. Let's put it on top. The values is a dictionary with internal value like test1 to the display value test1, and we put like, because I'm very creative, I put this in. It's a type string, so this is obviously a string, but it could also be a number if you want to calculate based on this value. The default, let's put this test2, and it should set Jan's test setting. That should be the machine variable which we want to use. And the setting type, that's basically the new setting. Let's put it to feature. Let's say that's a feature setting. And now if we restart this, hopefully starts. Yeah, it does. So now we got standard adjustments, and it does not contain manual adjustment. Because what I added while James wasn't looking is I added this add settings entry where you get a list of all settings, and I basically added a new parameter settings type, which then just filters the list. So it will return just this setting type. And I extended the service mode to have multiple entries, which would be like standard, feature, game, and we would just add coin. We got coin adjustments. So now we should have, let's restart it, so otherwise the code won't work. So standard adjustments, coin adjustments, game and feature adjustments. And feature adjustments just contains my new setting now, which also defaults to test2, and we can change it to 1, 2, 3. Let's put it at 1, and we can go out of it. And now we should see here in the clock, which is scrolling in the background, that it changed my machine variable Jan test setting to the value test1. So that's actually also working. Make this a little bit larger for you. So that's generally working. And now, yeah, there's just one setting. There's also standard, coin, game adjustment. So they just work the same, right? There's no difference between those and the coin adjustment. Yeah, so now we could call it a day and say we're done. but James already noticed that light controller, so MPF didn't actually start in the beginning because, for example, this brightness setting, which you saw earlier, is added from other code. And so there could be more places. And what you usually would do, or what I usually do, is I run like the unit tests in MPF. Let's just do that. It will take like 30 seconds. And it will just test all the stuff in MPF. And we got good unit test coverage of almost everything, at least everything which is, I would say everything which is working, because if you didn't test it, if also how you say, if it's not tested, consider it broken. It's this way, right? So that's what it usually becomes quickly if you do not test it. So yeah, it's now, yeah, as you can see, 5 tests failed and 759 tests passed out of 764. And that's most of them, but that's not all of them, obviously. So we can now see which one failed. And some of them, like this one, test handler, so it's like test event handler, which is internal event handler code in MPF that failed. Let's go into the test, and you can see that the test itself adds a setting. So let's just put standard, category standard in here to make it happy. And now it shouldn't complain anymore. And we can just run the failed tests, and 1 down. That's awesome. The next is match mode. What does it have? Match mode obviously also has some. So I guess match mode would be a game setting, or what would it be? Would it be a feature setting? What kind of setting is the match mode? Or is it standard setting? What would you say? And okay, let's go with standard. We can change it later. So those 3 tests should probably all have the same cause. Yeah, down to 1, and now we got test settings. Yeah, that obviously just test some settings. So we can fix those 2. Let's see if there's more in this file. No, that looks good. And let's rerun it again. And it's happy. That's good. So now we could again call it a day and say it's done. So we changed a few files here. But there's one more thing. Let's check the coding style. That's like Prospector runs all kind of coding style tests. So if we, I don't know, if we got like a new line where it doesn't belong and so on, it will tell us, but it will run for like, I guess, 2 minutes or so, 120 seconds or so. So that's already pretty good. Let's see in the meantime if MPF still works, but I guess we didn't make it worse because we obviously didn't have the match mode here. So, hi June. Yes, so the idea is like you can extend the service mode. That's totally possible in a lot of ways. Basically, in 2 ways. One of the ways is what I just showed. That's if you just create. Let me close this stuff. If you just create those settings entries, which James just extended by adding the settings type, so the category. And those will be like machine variables, which you can then reference in other stuff. So like in slides or also in conditional events. So you can, for example, have an event handler which only will happen if the feature is set to test 1. For example, like let's put widget player. We got some. Right, let's put in some switch event test event. So let's map the key 1 to test event here. And now we put a widget player on test event, and it will show let's put some widgets. Let me copy some widgets from my Twitch thingy here. And let's put those widgets in. Test message. So let's show this test message whenever this event is posted. And let's see what happens. So now I press 1, it says boom, and that, yeah, you saw kittens, but that only works here, unfortunately. So this one, now you can try it again. Now will work. It didn't for some reason. Maybe at least it knows MPF now. Let me check what I added there. It's just kitten. Yeah, I also removed the commands from the chat so that it won't scroll the commands, because it makes little sense. Yeah, so you can see that here. Now we got this boom message, which happens all the time, right? But we might make this dependent on my new setting. So how this works is like we do a condition on machine dot, or I think we can also go on settings. Settings dot test. It's called test settings plural equals test 1, and then it would only happen if it's test 1. If that works, or if it crashes. Maybe I got the syntax wrong. Unknown widget test widget. Yeah. I put this on the widget instead of the widget player. Should be here. Let's see. And it crashes. That's great. In settings controller, it has attribute error in settings controller. So test. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I have to look up the syntax, but at least this way we should be able to reference the machine variable. Let's see if that works. Yeah, now nothing happens. We can go into service menu, into, where did I put it? In feature adjustments. Set it to, oh, already has been this. Oh, is it machine variables, right? Yeah, maybe should read my own documentation sometimes. Guessing usually doesn't get you very far. See? Oh, no. Let's see how this is called. We can we can check the code. That's how I often do it. So I got machine settings. I got machine placeholder, and the machine will get machine variables. Okay, so that should theoretically work. Machine Jens test settings. That's the variable. Let's try it once again. So the value is test1. But doesn't work. But it should work. At least theoretically it should work. Maybe. I don't think it's this way. We can try. I don't think so. No, it doesn't, right? Yeah, that's correct. But there should be like placeholders for machine variables. Let's see how this works in our tests. Machine settings, custom settings, int. So at least theoretically it should work. And let's see how we access the variables here. So we got settings placeholders, and it will do get settings value based on the settings name. So it should be my settings name, right? And my settings name is test settings. So let's try this one again. So settings, test settings. So that is at least how it should work. But crashes for some reason. And what does crash? Let's see what crashes. Oh, yeah, yes, I know what it says. So this is because like it's one of the shortcomings of the MPF-MC. It doesn't know all this placeholder stuff. But what we can do now is like we can do an event player, which is so like this stuff happens on the MC side, so on the media controller side. And this currently does not know everything. So there are certain things which are not possible in the MC. And the workaround here is like to put this into an event player, which will just emit another event. And now we will emit a new event which we just will call show test message. And with this event, this is then sent to the MPF-MC, and the MPF-MC shows this message. That's some of the things which we are actually actively working on. So this will be better in the future, I hope. Or I'm certain that it will, but yeah, that's one of the things where it shouldn't crash, but it does. And yeah, that's not what it should do. But sometimes that's life. See now, So now it's boom. And what did I just write? I say it's if it's not 2. So it should always say boom unless I set the feature adjustments to 2. And now it's already boom. That's that's dumb for me. So I should have expired it, right? So 1 now it does nothing. Press 1, and we change it to 1, and boom. That's basically how you can extend it. That's the easiest way to extend. So it took longer than I thought, but now you saw it. And the other thing, how you extend it, and that's basically what James has been doing, is just to write Python code and override or extend the service mode. So what it usually has is it has certain methods which get the menu items, so load menu items. And if you just extend this method and return more or add more menu items, it will show more menu items and will then call this callback methods. And that way you can add more entries if you want. So if you want, like, I don't know, fancy test mode for your Doctor Who toy or something, that's what you can do with code here. So some things cannot work generically, right? So yeah, that's the 2 ways how you can extend the service mode. It even says if you want to add menu entries, overload the mode and this method. And the same is for all the submenus, for like diagnostics menu or even diagnostic switch menus. There's just 1 at the moment, but you could add more. That's not a problem. But let's see what the linter said. It's 0 messages found, so everything is fine, everything is awesome. So we can go ahead and review our changes. So let's just add them with P, so it will ask us what we want. So yes, we want to add this. We want to add the fixed and light controller in settings. We removed 2 new lines. Yes, that's fine. We need this. We added the credits mode, the match mode, service mode. Yes, added this. We added the filter stuff. We do not want to commit my test config. We do not want to commit this, and so do not want to add this. That has changed. Yes, that has changed. And boom. We push those changes, and we will then push them on GitHub. And that's basically how this looks on GitHub. Yeah, I have to commit it, obviously. Add categories to settings in service mode. Let's change it now a little bit more. Thanks, James, for for and we also got this file, authors. Do we have James here? No, that's not acceptable. So we will also add James. Is that how you are written? Probably, right? James Luna. So okay, cool. So you will be an author of MPF now. So I will push the changes, and that's what we can see here now. So we can now see all the changes again, what we did now, and I will create a pull request so that all the continuous integration tests can run, and it will be tested on Windows, on different Linux versions. I mean, it's not likely that this change here will cause any problems on any specific operating system, because it's not very hardware specific, but still we always run the integration tests just to be sure that we didn't break anything on some weird Windows or Mac, or I don't know, or some old Python version. That's also possible. So that's the first thing on our list. Let's go back to our list. So we got this figured, and also, so next would be to improve the audits. So hi Max Grid. So yeah, I just started with it. So I started like Monday. It's not that I did a lot of streams before. As you can probably see, it's not that I'm not such a professional streamer like others here. But thanks for joining. So yeah, happy to have you here. So what can we do next? So yeah, what did I want to do next? So improve audits, and that's also something which James did. So it's not entirely my thing. So what James sent me is this file, and what I will do is now, let's just put it, just copy and paste it here, and see what changed. And it looks like it's a diff against an older version, but we will just make the changes on the fly. So what's the difference here? So what he wanted to add is basically, so currently we can audit something like events, like switch hits and so on, but we always do one thing: we increment the current audit by 1. So you insert 1 coin, and it will increment the coins by 1. And what he added is that that we can encode, just call this method with an arbitrary value like 10 or something. I guess we can also set it to default 1, and then just have this way, right? That would be even easier. And that's wonderful. And that's basically a method to return the audits. I guess that's something, James, I guess that's something you added for service mode, right? So that you can get the audits from service mode. I just fix the coding style a little bit, and that's, yeah, we can even simplify. You might want to set the value. Did you do that? And then I broke it. Oh, yeah, okay. Actually, I see what you did. So yeah, then that's what I just said is that's not correct. So that would be better then. So we go with like either we increment it or we just set it to a specific value. Okay, yeah, because if you want to set like the audit duration of a game, then you would want to do this way. You're right. Okay, we get the audits. I guess this can be done with getters. Otherwise, the coding style will, the linter will complain. So basically, what you can do is you can say I want to have either this value this item in the list, or give me an empty list. And only we want an empty dictionary. And then whatever we get here, we can then get the event, and if it's not there, we get 0. So we can then just get rid of all this, so it even becomes simpler. See, what we got. Okay, yeah, that's like some stuff from. Yeah, that's definitely better. Let's see that I don't accidentally delete stuff here. So basically some small changes which you probably didn't do. It's just that you branched off it in an older version. Didn't have those changes. So let me just bring them back. So same. Oh, I like without the new line. So this needs a new line. This is the same. And this also. So what is this? I guess that's not something you changed. And the line here. Okay, that's coding style stuff. And you probably also didn't change this. So now we can see what we did. So that's the whole change then. That's not very much. And that's usually good. So what we can do now, as usual, like we can just run the unit test once to see if we broke stuff. Always a good start. And in the same time, I will just run the coding style on this one file. See if it complains about something. Yes, it does. 137 complains about this new line here, white space here, and missing argument description in docstring in audit. Audit class value. Okay, yeah. If you specify a value, the audit will be set to this value. Otherwise, will be incremented by 1. So this missing dashed line of the arcs, where? 100. Yeah. That's something which Python nowadays requires. The linter requires it. Let's see. Yep, good. All the tests passed, so that didn't break anything. That's good, and I mean that's mostly expected as we didn't actually call it, right? So let me check what James sent me. So what did you do? You added this in credits mode, right? So let me get your credit code also. That's this stuff here. And let's go to credit mode and edit. Oh, it's a lot of changes. Let's see what it really is. Start from the top. So the idea is to have like James posted this in the forum, is to have like coin audits similar to like modern machines, right? And currently MPF has a little bit or a lot less audits, and now we want to audit we want to record those also, and that's what we will do in credits mode. And let's see what we changed here. A new line, meta. So that's quickly new stuff. Okay, yeah, I added standard, you added coin. And I guess this makes a lot more sense in coin audits. Did I even coin audits in service mode? I didn't, right? X, right, in I'm wrong, adjustments menu, and I added coin. Okay, perfect. So now this will be in coin settings. So the change here. I think this just has been refactored. Let me see. Yeah, let me just clean this up a little bit. Remove and handlers free play. Yeah, some stuff changed. Settings and orders. Yeah, you're right. But this on top, that's basically a setting, right? That's the free play setting. So please tell me if I'm deleting something which you added. This looks like code which you added, player added. And that's so whenever we added the player, you increment the audits for non-coin. Okay. So I will just do some. If free play is true, what does it? It can be simplified. Yeah, we do not need true. Audit class 4 total free games. Okay, that's the number, right? Hey John, how you doing? So yeah, we have to think if we keep this or if we later want to drop this. So what James did, he added like let me show that. Like the number, this number here, he added this in front, which is nice. I guess all the manufacturers have that in their machines. So we have to think if we want to have that also, and if we want to add it into the string, basically into the name, or if we want to have the sort order or something. I guess we can also have the sort order here. So it's like it's now how it did. Oh, it's awesome. So it complains about the camel case here, and but it has a quick fix. Press tab. Nice. I mean, I can now quick fix this all. So, oh damn it. Why? Because that's basically how Python wants, or how the Python naming conventions are. That's PyCharm actually. So it's like the same as how it's called IntelliJ or so on, right? So that's Python IDE I'm using most of the time, and yeah, it's pretty good with like all this highlighting for coding style. So it will complain about most of the stuff. So like this stuff is the same as the linter will complain about. Yeah, it's totally normal. At work, I also sometimes write Rust code or Go code, and every language is like different, and yeah, I always need like a few minutes just to get used to the coding style again of the particular language. So there's this here. Oh yeah, that's like okay. You put in the label here, right? And that's also something it will complain about, I'm pretty sure. So let's search for that and just rename it. That's not working with a quick rename, but it can factor it. And now it's happy again. Awesome. So very good. It's the thing as earlier. Function name should be lowercase. Yeah. Let's do it. Yep. Perfect. It's usually very good. So if it understands the annotations and your types, it's very good in refactoring. And now it, okay, it's the same thing everywhere. Actually had suggestions, nice. So credit audits, let's see. I guess we want this, right? Okay, and it wants this as camel case again. So, and this is basically is not none, it's some Python stuff. But the good thing is, like, you do not have to think about this, it's just clicking and it will get the stuff done. So we can run prospector again, that's the coding style check, and it will run the coding style and it's fine, it's good. And now we can run unit test once more and see if that is working, but I don't think why it should break anything. So now we would need to test this with the game. Oh no, it's something broken in the tests. Let's see what it has. And let's just wait a few seconds for it to finish. So that's basically the credits mode test, which I mean makes sense. Did I check the coding style on the wrong one? Thanks. Yeah, you're right. See what it says. Yeah, well, it's also happy. So what does it complain about? Let's see. Okay, it complains about this line. Switch settings. Ah yeah, you sent me more, I remember. And that has been for all the switches, like the coin switches, we need to tell MPF what that is. So basically how we call it, not what it is. So it's like in credits, right? And there we got credit switches, and that's basically the switches which you would use to add money to the machine. So that could be like $1 or like 25 cents or 1/4. And you can also, yeah, basically that's what MPF needs to know. MPF at the moment doesn't have basically a currency value. It's just a number, and it then converts that into the credits, which you can configure in credits mode, and basically in the pricing tiers. And now it also has a label so that you can give your switches a name, and they will be named somehow. I don't know, not a good thing what I did, but we can run it again. Yeah, I know I'm running all the tests, right? Wrong button, but yeah, it's just 30 seconds or so. So hopefully this will resolve that thing. Okay. No. At least most of them, right? There's just one which is now unhappy, and that's the earning for money. So we check the earnings for money, and now it's no longer money. I mean, guess we can see what they are, right? That would be the easiest. Just look into it. Right, it's finished here. So yeah, it's a little bit slower because I mean the PC is now processing the stream, so it's like usually it's like 20 seconds, and now it's like 48 seconds. Let's see. Can I just debug this one test? Credits mode test. Probably also debug this one, right? And now we can see what this is. Let me see. Self machine. Ah, yeah, let's make it easy. We're lazy. Let's. So I could go into like I could basically browse into the variable, but as I'm lazy, I do not want to. And that's why I'm just getting the variable. So now we can see what we got. We got one total coins money. Okay, so basically it was renamed, and that's why now we got like one total coins money. And let's just better break this in some way. I guess you changed it from money to this, right? So it's now money to the, okay, yeah. So basically money would be if I put the switch in money, or I would put the name of the switch as money, right? Or when would I get money? It's money total earning. So basically this one, right? The name. So now we can put like total is 1, total coins, and total earnings money is now still the same, right? So let's see. What did we do? We had 0 coins. We didn't, so we hit 1. Okay, that's basically the switch, right? So if I put, yeah, if I give it a name, it should work, right? So let's do that then, I guess. So the test is in credits, yeah. And now we got like left coin, center coin, right coin, and we defined them also here. So let's give them, it's a type, okay, now I get it, yeah. So now we give it a label, right, left, left quarter, and the other one's then center quarter, and that is right dollar, right? And now we can see what we get here. We just rerun it. Money, money. And now, yeah, now we got the next two, right? Like we got left quarter money 1. Okay, so basically we got the same for your specific, or for my specific, coin switch. And that shouldn't change. So what is it complaining about now? Like, okay, somewhere later. So basically I have to do the total earnings now, and that would be 0.5. And let's I'm gonna rerun it. No, can't, because it failed. Why did it fail? Later. Probably have to copy it a few times, I guess. Yeah, it's 1.5 and it's 2.0. So, and this, thanks, man. But you wrote it. You did like think about how this works, and I'm just doing the mechanical stuff and making it work at the end, like cleaning it up a little bit. So that's the stuff from here. And now let's run all the tests again. I want to run like all the unit tests again. And that again will take a few seconds. We can also run it like on the console if we want. And so test credits, so we can credit. What's it called? Credits mode. Credits mode. We can also run this on the console on CLI with this Python command, but it's nicer in the UI, in the IDE. And let's see. I mean, yeah, service mode reset is not working. Okay, but as you could imagine, that is a similar issue. So now okay, and now we got total credit, service credit. Ah, nice. That's really nice. I like it. So, and yeah, let's see if we rerun. No, I do not want to rerun everything. I just want to run. Stop it. Just want to run this one, and it's also happy again. So now, yeah, I mean, this is just a test to add some service credits. So now we got like, what did we do? We did this, so we added the audit gauges, and we audit credits properly. Let's say it properly, because it has been very simplistic in the beginning. So we did that, and next is now we need to show that in service mode, right? So we want to see our credits in service mode, and I think James also sent me some code there, which is like downloaded it earlier. Let me see. No, I didn't. I can do it now. that's service mode itself. So did we do some changes to service mode? Not yet. It's just so that's a lot of changes. So what do we have here? New imports? No. Yeah, that's what I added earlier today. That's from the old version. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. Do we want those banners or don't we? I think the UI doesn't. Okay, just because they are too long. What does it complain here? Too many leading. Okay, it wants it this way. Yeah, I think I will remove them for now, but why not? Yeah, we can finish this up. We are trained professionals here. It's not an issue. So what's that? Oh, it's a lot of stuff. I'll bring this back. See what it complains now. Audits. That's good. So we got basically audits, update audits, audit submenu, that's audit, earnings. That's also audit player, audit switch. So I guess settings is something we already had. Settings menu. Yeah, I changed that earlier. So utilities. I guess you didn't change utilities, right? Or did you? No, that looks similar. Yeah, it's. I mean, we can always bring it back from your either from version control or from your file. It doesn't really hurt to delete it. And yeah, I mean, moving around is fine. It's just not a good idea to basically move stuff and change stuff at the same time, because then if you diff stuff later, if you even hit diff, it's hard to figure out what that change actually did. So that's why I try to do this in separate changes usually. So let's see where the original audit menu is. So that's here. And basically, yeah, let's delete the old one and go with the new one. And now let's see. Let's just try it and see how far we go. There we get. And that's again the nice. I mean, it's working, or just winging it. That worked well. So we got earning audits, player audits, event audits, shot audits, switch audits. So earnings, currently empty, player. So they're basically all empty, right? So what we need to do now is we would implement earning audits, I guess. Let's start with that. So we go into the earning audits menu, and it will go into the, okay, it will show everything, okay. But I didn't have any earnings, I think. So I need some earnings in my menu. Yeah, maybe then we just use my machine. But I do not have. Do I have coins? No, I don't. And so we can just copy from Audits mode. So what do we need? We need all this. We need mode credits. So what I'm currently doing is I start this machine from service mode and just play around with it. So we add, yeah, obviously there's already some modes because we loaded service mode. Okay, there's also already credits mode here. So we also have credit switches, I guess, right? No. Yes. But wait, it's totally simple, right? We can add service credits by pressing, or by opening the door. And good question, how do you add service credit switch? Which switch do you usually use? No, it's not enter, right? Or is it? Is it enter if you do not open the door, right? Or I mean, doesn't really matter because we can just define one. Just wondering. That's credits, yeah, and service credit switch. Okay, it's the escape switch. Okay, so I just press the escape switch. Yeah, probably, right? Yeah, but it doesn't work. So I guess it's not defined by default. Yes, here it is. Okay. For credits, we just put this one in, and it's already. Or maybe we are on free play. Let's see. Enter goes into menu. Yes. So adjustments, standard. No, it's in coin adjustments now, right? Yeah, we on free play. So credit play is. Ah, yeah. Now you can see in the service credit key name none. Okay, yeah. Now we should be able to see the on, so we don't. Some reasons. Audits category not found. Probably file is missing or corrupt. Oh, let's see. Let's see what we need to do. Just close a few files here. That's good. And okay, so you catch the exceptions. And so that we know what is happening here, we will log the exception also when it's not that good of a style, I would say. And we will just do that. Not adjustments, audits. Zero. What did I do? Accept exception E. An interesting exception to be honest. I will just do this and make it actually crash, because that's often easier to understand if it goes wrong. Why not? Why just make it crash? Awesome. Okay, item in position 0 isn't there. So why is that? Because this is like expecting a list, and what we can do is so yeah, I know what you want to do. So we want to iterate like the audits, right? And then we want to get the position here. And what we currently get is a dictionary. And like a dictionary in Python, and we can have a look. So what's happening is this. So we got like a dictionary, and it has keys like Jan to 42 and S to 23. So you can give out A, and if I put in A0, then it will give us an error. So but what we want is we want to iterate the whole stuff, right? And what you do in Python is like you iterate the items. So then you can not subscribe them, but I think you can put it into a list, and then I can get the first two items. And that's so what we probably want to do here. So we get the audits here, and then we do like items and make it a list. I'm sure it will crash a little bit down the road now, but we will get further with this. So check. Audits, earning audits. Yeah. Nice. Now it crashed because it couldn't send this tuple. So what I showed you here, when we accessed the first item, we got like a tuple, which is two thingies, and it tried to send this via the backbox control protocol (BCP) to the media controller, and that actually crashed like the the BCP sending code. So it cannot handle that. But that's also fine. Most workers will not actually want to do that. Instead, let's see. So we update the slide here, and we got like items. So I would do it like this. Item 0 and 1. So basically this is a tuple, and you can access the two parts of the tuple this way. And this is the item, and that's the way. Yeah, that should just work. Let's see. Audits, earning audits. So now you can see that it actually worked. I mean, you cannot see it here because I guess we did not add a slide yet. But you can see that it posted the event to show this slide with a label and a value, and that's not correct to be honest, because I didn't do it right, I think. Because we want items position like this, and then I will add the slide, and we can visually see and feel it, and yeah, total value to that's correct. So luckily, James also sent me the slides. So basically, he did all the work. And audit menu here. Well, that's not new. I mean, I don't know what's new, but we will figure it out. Have to change. That's new. I will close again, but yeah, maybe I have to rethink. I like those. Currently we're not having them anyway, so that's nothing that can change. That's because you changed it to your mode. And that's nothing I want. That's basically if you want to change the mode as I showed initially, that's what you do. You change the code path in here. You say that should load them the service mode from your machine. Yes, that's what James did, and that's totally, yeah, look at it, it's beautiful. And now total coin. I mean, it doesn't look so nice on a DMD now. Total coin and credit service 2. Count total. Yeah, I mean, now we got like different values, right? We got service credits. Now has count 3. I guess that's because it's a separate counter. So because we total value and count and that's think a little bit. Let me think a little bit. So what we do is we add this class, right? And sometimes we got this total value stuff, right? Where's this total value stuff coming from? I know what it probably is. No, I don't. It's from service credit. Service credit fallback. And then it calls audit with service credit. And why did I get the other thing? Let me see. So what we can do is like we can look at this at the file where it wrote, and it has this count and total value. I don't get where this came from. That's not in here. Is it in here? Also not in here. But if you don't know, there's always a solution. Just grab the source code. That's what I usually do to see where it's coming from. Okay, that's the log from just 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes ago, the log. And that's also the same log. So maybe that's how it was before, right? Let's just delete the earnings for once. Try it again. And then see if it still works or if it gets worse or better. So now it's empty, right? And now we add a few credits here. And we go to audit menu again, earning audits, total coins. Yeah, that's nice. So what do we show here? Value 10. like the total earned service credits. Yeah, it's all 10. And maybe, I don't know if we want this to be inactive, right? It's we can make it even more beautiful. But now, I mean, that's already pretty cool. So give a round of applause to James for implementing this and doing all the work here. Because I'm just the one upstreaming the stuff, right? James, thanks for doing all this. So cool. So yeah, I will remove this opacity, right? Because that's just opaque, and I don't think it looks super cool. It would look better if it was not opaque. And then it should look great. Maybe we will go with there's no. Do we have a smaller label? Normal, small. I think we do not have a smaller label by default. Small. Yeah, I mean, that's something which is tricky on the DMD, right? So what I also prepared is like how this looks if it's on an LCD. So let's put like 720p. So I mean, that's how it looks. It's the same menu, and now you can see the two, right? It works as it should be. So let's go out, add a few more service credits, and go in again, and here we go. More credits. So next would be player audits. So what would player audits be? Would that be player variables or something more specific? Auditor current audits player. Okay. So basically player variables, right? Yeah. Player data. What is it? Okay, it's in stuff at the end of the game. And there you got like total, average, and more, right? But the syntax is probably different. So what we would need is, we would actually need a game to test this. Because what I just did, it just works for earnings, because that's exactly the way how it's written. So we need, how do we do that best? Transport plate, yeah. So let's do one thing. So we know that now the earnings work. So we will just uncomment those for now and run coding style once on all the files we changed, and run the unit test and make a first commit. Now we cannot run it on YAML files. So like that. And then we will commit this because it's working. Okay, now it's complaining about a few things. And that's, what is it? A white space in 415. I will just run the unit test in parallel. Yeah, that's fair. And then it complains about those exceptions. Okay. I guess we want to do this a little bit like this. Something like index error or key error. I think that's, so it complains that we catch all possible exceptions, and that's fair, because basically you will swallow all the exceptions, and that's not so good. So let's a little bit more like this. So that we did not get the audits. I think it's always the same, right? It's like key value something. Items equals this. Then we'll be happy for now, and we can fix it in a minute. So that's right, yeah. With X you can remove the line. And now it should be happy, hopefully. See what the unit tests. Oh, I didn't run all of them. I want to run all the unit tests. Let's see what they do. And then, yeah, coding style is happy. It's good. So the point is now, for example, for player, what do we want to show there? Because I mean, what it does is like it does average, total, and the top value. So let's see what this actually is. Test auditor, that audio. Test auditor. Okay, for example, score. Did I break it? Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you. That's some of the things which IDEs like to break. But the tests did not break. I mean, there's some like deprecation notices, but those are mostly in our dependencies, not in our code. So that's, everything's happy, and I guess we will just commit this for now. And we will also do the same again. So yes, yes, setting. No, I don't want to delete that. Yes, I want that. That. I want that. Yes. huge chunk. That's also fine. Yeah, remove that. Now what did we delete that? That's probably not good, right? So we deleted this part in the standard audit submenu. I'm not staging it. So yes, 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 yes. Looks legit. Yes, yes. No, that's my test. My test. That's yes. On the tests, no, and yes. And now we got still some changes in credits, which I wanted to review. So yeah, I want to revert those because I want the message. And in service, that's in line 548. Ah, here, we deleted stuff on setting change. Maybe we want that. Ah, it's not used, right? That's why I deleted it. And then we will add this in also. And that's also the stuff. Always the thing. If you forget stuff here, then it will break in a NCI, and you won't notice. Add running audits. Thanks to James. So let's push this too, and we earlier opened the pull request. Let's see. So yeah, the old stuff built, so it's green. All the tests worked, and now yeah, the new stuff is also building. Let's see. I guess as we tested the tests, they will probably still work. And now we got like a clean IDE again, and we can fearlessly break it again. So let's start with like something like player audits. And what we can do is we can simply print the items, right? So I will go into the mode again, and audits, and go into player audits, and it crashed. So what I did is I added the prints so we can see what it actually is. So we got like score, and then we got top, average, and total. But what does a normal machine typically show there? Is it the average score, or is it basically all of them, right? It would be like 3 items: top score, average score, total score. Or what would you suggest here? Because I guess we can easily do that. So for, so what do we have? We got like this and then this. Audits. For audit and audit values in audits. So we will prepare a list here. And then this nice list will look like items and audit. And then we got 4 key value in audit values, and then we unpack the values. So we want something. The audit category and then the key, so it would be like score format. It should be like score top or something. Okay, so the other ones are simpler. So I took the worst one, right? Value. Let's see what I did. Maybe it would just work. That's what you always think. And it rarely happens. Audits, bam, and it crashed. Too many values to unpack. In items. The items? So the items. Okay. Okay, now we got top score. We got total score and average score. And that's top, I think that's a list. It will be the top 10, I guess. So that would be the top 10 scorers, total score, average score. I guess that's decent. That's what we can use. I guess we will just leave it this way, right? Unless somebody screams that this sucks, but I think that's something. So let's see what switches are. So now we're hot. Now we're doing them all. Earnings, player, switch, bam. Same again. So you said it's the same as the earnings. So for the earnings, I did this thingy here. Let's just do the same stuff again and hope for the best. Oh, yeah. You have to So those should be more, right? Shouldn't be 0. Why is it 0? Yeah, because I'm using what am I using here? I'm using like the keyword mappings, and they probably YAML. No, it's I'm using the keyword mappings in the configuration here, and that's probably not counting as real switches. Oh, but sure, actually a good question. But it should. Why doesn't it? Switch add monitor audit switch. If enabled, there's always an easy way to find out if something is called. Yes. So that is actually called. So it's supposed to audit one switch. But it doesn't. I mean, we should see this audit item values. So what we can do is we can actually enter print here, so that we can see audit class event value. It's slower than, oh no, I cannot use those because, well, switch controller, blah, blah, blah. No. So for some reason, the auditor is not auditing switches. Audit switch if self-enabled. Yeah, it's actually a good question. Did we enable the auditor? If not, why not? You probably have to enable it, right? Is it just enough to put it into my configuration? I'm not sure how to enable the auditor. Self-enable. Build. Self-enable. Let's see. We are calling it. Ah, okay. So it's just auditing during a game. So unless you got a game, it's not auditing, so it's fine. So this is why we're not getting so much stuff out of it. Yeah, you have to start the game. So otherwise, you won't get audits. It's super simple. It's also, I mean, the tests are passing, so it can't be broken. But I mean, well, in general, we see the audits and they're just 0 because it's outside of a game. It's fine. Switch audits. Yeah, that's totally fine. So next, what's next? We got shots. Is it also the same for shots, or is it different? Let's see. Let's just try it. Shots. So we can also look in the auditor how it's working. It's the same as switches. Okay, so it should work just the same. And then for events, it should also be pretty much the same. So maybe my change wasn't that great. So, without running a game, yeah, I can see that, but for that, I can't run my game. Yeah, I can run my game. That's possible. With a few more. I hope that's not too much CPU load now, but I mean it slows down a little bit with the stream running. But yeah, that's now my game, and let's add a few bars here. If we balance them to the other side, let's start a game and see what it does. Or you would even get music, maybe, if you're hearing it. I can show you some music again. I'll turn it down again. So let's now, I don't know, push the flipper buttons a little bit, drain a ball here, so player loses one life, a new ball, loses another one. Oh, did I crash it? So what did I crash? Yeah, interesting. So sometimes my game also crashes. I got some placeholder which is unhappy. Interesting. It shot, okay, some shot placeholder. Maybe I change it. Let's see if we got some. I mean, it snapshots the audits every few seconds, so should have some. That looks on my machine. Earning audits, nothing, because probably didn't. Yeah, for a total 1. At least. Events, yeah. Default audits, shots. Should have made some shots. Yeah, at least some switches work, but there are like a lot of them in my machine. Those. Okay, shot audits. So maybe this wasn't right. And let's just make some shots. Add balls. Start the game. Yeah. Oh. Shot updated. Interesting. I must have broken something. That's bad. Maybe I got some different shot. Otherwise, I just believe that is. Oh. So which shot do I have which might not break? Maybe this one. That's at least one shot. Two shots. Yeah. Yeah, we made the shot. Awesome. So that's also working. Super cool. So I guess we can commit this then. Just this small change, right? So prospector over once, and yeah, and I obviously have to fix my machine and find out why it's breaking. Already some Python parsing things. Yeah, add shot, layer, switch, and something more. And event audits to service menu. So we can push that. So we got this. So you wanted to change coil strength next, right? And then let's give that a try, I guess. So how I would approach that is that I would go via placeholders. So I would add a setting to service mode, and then let's open my stuff again. Here is my setting. Let's put it, and let's rename it to coil strength. And let's put a label coil strength, that you know what it is. And then I would probably put it to int and put like something like 10 milliseconds, 12, 15 to, I don't know, weak, normal and strong. Default 12, so normal. And coil strength, I don't know, something like. So where do you want to use the coil? Do you want to use it on a ball device, or do you want to use it somewhere specific? I guess in general, right? Let's name it this way. Scoop, and let's just put the same name here. And let's put in the feature, why not? And now what we would want is like, I don't know why do we have test coils in here? Oh, it's the wrong service mode. Okay, it's just for the coil menu. So let's call it scoop, right? And we give it a new number. And usually you will have default pulse MS, right? Like default would be like, normally you would put 12 here, for example. And then if you pulse it, obviously it should pulse with 12 milliseconds, right? So what we could do now, put this here, detach it, right? So test point. No, let's not write a test now. Let's just do it. And the idea, what I would do is basically I would turn this into a placeholder somehow, so that we can use stuff like this. and strings loop, right? So stuff like this. And obviously this wouldn't work out of the box. So if we start this, it should just crash, I guess. Where is it here? Should crash here. MC starts, but MPF crashed earlier here because it tries to convert the value into milliseconds, which it is not. So what we can do instead is change the value, and what it has to be is like template milliseconds. So drivers, it's Coils. Default pulse as it's milliseconds, and it has no default. It has a default, but it's not defined here. It's a little bit special. So what we would do is to template integer or the template. I think there's template milliseconds also. Okay. Yeah, it's elsewhere. So now we will get a template. It can still be a number, but it can also be a placeholder. So you can do arbitrary math and use all the placeholders which you know in MPF. So you could make it depend on a shot or on anything else, basically. So what we would do is then, so basically what we break then is like that we get default pulse MS here, and this will no longer be like an integer now. So this will be a placeholder now, and that will obviously be a problem. But luckily we can also for this so basically this will be a placeholder. So what we have to call is evaluate, so that we basically evaluate this at runtime. So every time when this method is called, and that's called, see where it's called? It's called when we enable a driver, for example, if we pulse a driver, and if we initialize, what do we do? The configuration. And it's just to configure the driver initially, right? So that's also fine. So we will call it start. And then if we enable something, and I guess also when we write hardware rules, I have to check that. And now I think at that point we also call that. So the easiest stuff would be to actually do this, and this might actually already work. Let's see if it works. No, for some reason it didn't. Yeah, it requires parameters. That's basically if it's called based on an event, we could pass on like parameters, but usually we don't. So that should, I said that before, but that should work now. And it actually started up, and this now works. So like, what do we have? We got something like pulse events, right? So what we can do now is to test it, we put pulse events based on my test event here. And now we can see in our log, let's put it to verbose because it's more fun to see more stuff. That's 1. Yeah, boom, still works. And pulsing driver for 12 milliseconds. That's basically the default setting, right? And now we can see, we go to adjustments. Where did I put it? In feature adjustments, right? By strength. So let's put it to strong. Go out and press it again. So yeah. Let's make it easy for us. And now you can see that it's pulsing the driver for 15 milliseconds. And that's, so I mean, we can do the same now for week. And now it's just 10 milliseconds. So that would be basically the change. Now that works, but it's not quite a good idea to do this here. And the reason is that this is not super cheap. I mean, it's not super expensive either, but it's also not super cheap. So this call basically, yeah, it will take some cycles in Python. And usually the result will be always the same. And if you want to pulse a coil, that should usually happen fast, right? You do not want some basically delays here. So to fix that, I would do one thing, and that's like something which we can do, which is like we cache the value, and that's something we do like self pulse ms. It's none, and we add a new layer here, and we basically locally cache the result of this evaluation. So I'll show you how this works. Right. I have to look it up. Evaluate. Yes, evaluate or none. Yeah, that's like evaluate and subscribe. And exactly. So this is a little bit tricky then. That's like advanced magic. So what it does is it will get us a value, what it currently is, and this future will become ready. So it's like now it's called in async IO once this placeholder changes. So we do not have to call it every time. And so we do it like this, calculate pulse ms placeholder. So we call a method here, and we define this here. And now we do, so what we want now is like when this, come on, what do you mean? When this future is done, callback, I think is it called, we will just call this method again. So I think it will pass some parameters, so that's why we need this. Let's print something, right? Got pulse ms strict. So we will remove that later, but it's more obvious. And then all we need is we put pulse s equals that, and we also add this stuff up here. So that we also do not have to do this more than once in the case that we did not specify it. So let's see how much I messed up. It's working and pulls it, that's good. And it's pulsing with 10 milliseconds. You can see here. And now we can go into adjustments, feature adjustments, tweak. Oh, it broke. Position, okay. So what I think it gives you like the future or something, and we just Python doesn't like it if it gets parameters which it doesn't know, and that's what happens here. So we will just ignore them. Adjustments, and now we can see, and there you can see it got pulled them as 12 milliseconds, 10 milliseconds, 15 milliseconds here, and 12, and so we can set it to strong and then go out. Press 1 again, and bam, it's going. So I see most people left already because it's probably too technical. I mean, just tell me, right? If it's too technical, tell me, or if it's boring. But it works now, so we can now put it depending on a placeholder, which is cool, I think, at least. Hope you think that too. Let's see. Thanks, James. Let's just run the unit test once to see if we broke stuff. But I don't think so. But I always think that, and sometimes I'm proven wrong. Yeah, that at least works. So let's remove the print. Doesn't make sense to have it here. One test failed. In test driver basic functions. That's not so good. But we will figure it out. Okay, but this is just because the test is bad. It actually changes the MPF defaults at runtime, and that's just not a good test, I guess. So this is not working, and that's basically okay that it doesn't work, because that's not supposed to work. And so operation for the I guess we can just just get rid of this test. It's a bad test. And 52, yeah, it's like 10. Let's just not do crazy stuff in tests. Really a bad idea. So this one passes. service CLI. Okay, that just crashes because it tests with my configuration here. So this one basically breaks the display in the test. So let's just get rid of that, and it should work. And that's the case. So let's just run that. Yes, 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 yes. No, no, but no, yes. Add placeholder for default files as in coils. Yeah, so let's push it. We check the coding style. Let's see. Oh, we got like a test failure on. Why did we have a test failure here? Sometimes they just randomly crash. Okay, they were just cancelled because there were newer tests, I guess. But probably this year I probably had problems. But in general it passed, so most of the tests passed, and it's just one run. So I guess that's not so much an issue. So I guess we already lost most of the people. So James, thanks for sticking with me. I had fun. Hope you had some fun too. And we can merge it later on. That's not an issue. And I mean, I'm confident that this will pass, and if not, I can fix it later. Also, we'll adjust like the integration test. So we got integration tests between MPF and MPF-MC, and I'm pretty certain that they will now be confused because there are no more menu items, and it actually checks the menu items here. So it runs to the menu and stuff here. Config file and cache changed. Oh, it looks actually, no, it doesn't. Probably doesn't go into audits or adjustments, so, or maybe only in the first adjustments. So it doesn't break, so it doesn't need fixing. That's nice. Sometimes, but maybe I will add some more tests to it. But this is great stuff. I mean, that's good for everybody. So thanks again. I guess next week I will do some more and maybe show some hardware also. I got some laying around here. And yeah, I mean, thanks for bearing with me. And I wish you, I mean, for you in the US, it's probably a great day, because for me it's like 11 p.m. now, and for you it's like afternoon, right? So have a great Saturday, and see you next week then. Thanks. It's been a pleasure. It was a lot of fun with you.